As some of you all know, I've been speaking about it in other videos. I am on this new journey to rediscover myself since my most recent breakup. And in this journey, I am revisiting my childhood, I'm revisiting past relationships, how I ended up in these different, partnerships with people, even friendships. And so today I am going to talk about why you should not build a man up. I come from a generation where, we were, the ride or die culture was like cute, right? Like we grew up with, all these songs about Bonnie and Clyde and, the movies and, black women, we supposed to ride until the wheels fall off. And we're taught that, we're so strong that we can just take everything and we can put up with everything and, all of that. Or a lot of us have been conditioned to be independent, but also not judge a man that has less than you, right? And I personally watched my dad go through a really, really, really nasty divorce where he was the breadwinner. He took care of her. She did not have to work. But when she left and she left with a vengeance. And he lost his home. He lost his job. She cleared out the bank accounts. And karma has definitely come back around to her. But in watching my daddy go through that, I think there was a part of me that had developed that kind of like, oh, you know what? Seeing everything that my dad went through, like I'm fine with going 50-50 because, or I'm fine with, helping a man rebuild because, not everybody, it's not always the man's fault, right? Now, I've since been delivered. Me and my daddy have had these conversations, but that is what we're going to talk about today. So I feel like specifically for black women, because I can only speak as a black woman. When we desire to have a partner that makes more than us, we are called gold diggers. I think that it's probably, an ego trip kind of thing where, how we're shunned for being quote unquote boss babes. We're shunned for our degrees. We're shunned for our good jobs, things like that. But a lot of these men, and I'm speaking about a certain demographic of men, so I don't need not all men comments, but a lot of these men, they are mediocre on purpose. They lack ambition on purpose. They're looking for someone to feel sorry for them. They're looking to have that same story about how, oh, well, I used to be this, and then you're over here like, oh, well, I believe in you. Yeah, but I've learned that they have to believe in themselves too. I have noticed that all of my past relationships, to be honest with you, in some capacity, it's one thing to encourage. It's one thing to, want to uplift your partner, but it's another thing if you're watching yourself do all the work. And I've been in situations where I'm watching myself either do all the work or doing a large portion. It's one thing to be supportive and be like, you know what, I'm so sorry that you didn't get that promotion, honey, but XYZ, whatever. It's another thing to be dating a man that doesn't want the promotion. He's happy in the position that he's in, but he's complaining because he doesn't have any money. Things like that. And it's not always about money either. A lot of people only give you their representative when they're low on funds. I've learned that. A lot of people act completely different when their pockets are fat. I've learned that as well. And there are people that you may meet them when they're in survival mode. So the only thing that they're looking for with you, or they'll tolerate with you, or they'll entertain you to help you get them to wherever they need to be. And then they will drop you like a bad habit. Or they'll resent you. I've learned that there are some men that you get with when they're not where they want to be in life and they're mean to you because of that, or when they do reach where they want to get, they look at you like you didn't have enough self-worth to not be bothered with me. Like, why would I want somebody like you around? Type of situation. There's some men that will deal with you just because you allow them to be around you, but they're only entertaining you until the person that they really want comes around. So it's not that it needs to be said, but it's not our job to build up another person, period. This is not about being unsupportive or cold. It's literally just about understanding your worth, recognizing unhealthy dynamics, and making sure that you're not pouring all of your energy into someone else at the expense of yourself. And I think as women, that is one of our toxic traits with ourselves, that we will literally sacrifice ourselves to make sure that other people, period, are good. And we have to stop doing that. There's a reason why we're tired. There's a reason why we're overworked. There's a reason why we feel unappreciated. Your kids are one thing, but to do that for another grown, able-bodied human being is just asinine. And this is me talking to myself as well. So you know how we are on this channel. We listen. We do not judge. Y'all know I have no problem with telling y'all where I've been a little on a little short bus, at times. So let's get into it. What does it mean to build a man up? So let's define what that means first. This phrase often refers to being someone's emotional, financial, or even motivational backbone. And it's literally, it's like taking responsibility for his growth, success, and well-being. So what can this look like? This can look like helping him get his career off the ground, trying to fix his self-esteem issues, supporting him financially while he finds himself. And I'm using air quotes even though y'all can't see me. Sacrificing your own needs to cater to his potential. It's one thing to support a partner in a healthy, reciprocal, heavy on the reciprocal relationship, but building someone up often means overextending yourself, giving way more than you receive, and waiting for the day when he finally gets it together and becomes the man that you think he can be. And spoiler alert, that day literally never comes. Never. One of the things that I've also learned is to stop falling in love with potential. And this is for everybody. This is not just in relationships, like romantic relationships. A lot of the time, we see who a person can be. We see who a person is capable of. But I had to come to terms with the fact that just because you see it and it's there, that person may not reach that for Lord knows how many lifetimes. And it's not your job to try to get them to see that. Because specifically as women, right, if we are vibrating on a low frequency or we don't feel like we're worth much, there's no man that's like, oh, baby, let me make you feel better. No. And most of the time, the ones that do, you got to think they're just as low vibrational as you, which is why you're attracting them. Once again, note to self. Okay, so why is this a problem? Why? I don't even know why I wrote that in there because this doesn't even have to be a question, but you are playing the role of a parent, not a partner. You guys, I am the oldest daughter. I am the oldest grandchild. I'm the oldest niece. I'm the first everything. I'm literally my siblings' second mom. It took me a long time to realize that the reason why I was attracting all of these projects was because I was trying to, I didn't even realize it, but I was so used to taking care of everybody. I was so used to sacrificing myself for everyone else. I was so used to wanting to make sure that everybody around me was okay. I had to realize that I've not been in one relationship, myself personally, where I haven't damn near been the mom in the relationship. And it took me a long time to even understand what that meant and to see what that was. When you're constantly coaching, guiding, and fixing someone, you're literally stepping into a parental role. And that dynamic creates an imbalance. So instead of being equals, you're carrying the weight of the relationship while he's benefiting from your effort. And then tack on, like for myself, you're doing that and you're a mom. No wonder why you're tired. No wonder why you're fucking exhausted. This can lead, which I dealt with, this can lead to resentment, burnout, and frustration because you're just giving, and you're not getting your needs met in return. And this is something that I had really bad. And I would do, and I would just always, and I think that this is where a lot of men be like, oh, these women are so masculine. And it's just like, nigga, I'm the one carrying the boulder up the fucking hill and you're just watching me. But we as women have to get to the point where we hold ourselves accountable for the fact that why would I be with somebody that's watching me push the boulder up the hill? Why? We can't be accountable for people being bad people, But we do need to hold ourselves accountable for allowing these bad people to have access to us, or these low vibrational energies to have access to us, and really, truly, 100% believing that you don't deserve this kind of person in your life. You deserve to have someone that gives you what you give them, and then some. Potential is not enough. We just talked about that. One of the biggest traps in falling in love with someone is falling in love with someone's potential. Like I told y'all, I had this really bad. You see who they could be, but not who they actually are. And the truth is, potential does not pay bills, it does not heal emotional wounds, and it definitely does not create a fulfilling relationship. If he's not actively working on himself, there is no amount of encouragement or support from you that will change that. The growth has to come from within. And I did remember telling you guys in another video that one of the things that I had to unlearn due to my childhood trauma was that you cannot love people into loving you the way that you need to be loved. They're either going to do it or they don't. There is not one relationship. I'm talking about friendship, familial relationship, intimate relationship. There is not one relationship that I have been in where the love that I gave what made them inspired to love me how I'm supposed to be loved. No, it never worked. They just siphoned that energy up out of me. And then when I had no more, they was like, well, I don't got no use for you. Bye. You are delaying your own growth. This is another thing that I had to learn. I would be in these relationships and I'd be frustrated with the man and I'd be like, this nigga's holding me back. No, girl, you holding you back. You're over here doing the whole dash about this man. And yes, you're accomplishing your goals and you're doing all the things that you said you were going to do. But like, I look back in certain relationships and I'm like, oh my God, I would have so much more money or I'd be so much further if I didn't sow into this person that didn't even care about themselves as much as I do. And that's another thing where I had to get at myself is why the hell would I be with somebody that doesn't even love themselves? How could I possibly expect you to love me when you don't even love your damn self? And vice versa. Because if I love me the way that I should be loving on myself, I wouldn't even have someone like you in my presence. I had to understand that too. This is why I say we got to go see the lady and get right. When you're focused on helping someone else rise, you often put your own goals, dreams, and well-being on the back burner. Your energy and time are finite. Every ounce you pour into someone else is energy that you're not investing in yourself. This also creates a cycle of dependence. If someone relies on you to fix them, they are less likely to take accountability for their own life. Y'all, I have seen this in so many situations. With my oldest son's biological father, when we broke up and he was back to nothing because everything was mine, it was all my fault. It's your fault I'm sleeping on the floor. It's your fault I have to live in my dad's house. You knew exactly what you were doing. I knew that you were going to put me out when you bought all this new furniture. Everything was my fault. That man's life was my fault. Instead of saying, you know what, she begged me to get a job for I don't know how many years. I watched her take care of my son and encourage me for however many years. But you know what, it's just easier to blame her. Over time, you will literally find yourself stuck in a cycle where you're constantly picking up the pieces while they stay stagnant. And that is not love. That's enabling. And that's something that I had to learn, and it was a very harsh reality. He needs to learn how to build himself up. That is not your job. That is not your job. There's so many of us on this planet that have had to go do the work, that have had to go seek, help to figure out why we are the way that we are, why we have certain patterns, why we either treat people a certain way or we're attached to people that treat people a certain way. We had to get out what we was mad at with ourselves. Okay, they have to do that too. That's not our job. And I'm going to keep saying that. That's not our job. Because even now, it's innately in me to want to help people. And so when I see somebody down and out, I'm wanting to jump up and help. But then sometimes I have to remember that, number one, this might be somebody's karma. And God didn't ask me to put my little greasy hand in it. And then two, in this particular space that I'm in, if it's not my children, the same energy that I'm trying to put into these other people, I need to go and put that back into myself. Because if I got time for somebody else, I got time for me. Growth is personal. It is not our job to build anyone, especially not a grown adult. He has to do the work himself. When a man gets it out the mud when a man builds himself up, he develops self-respect because his success is earned. He learns how to navigate challenges without depending on others. He brings his whole self to the relationship rather than showing up incomplete and looking for you to fill the gaps. If you are constantly stepping in, you rob him of the opportunity to grow on his own. And if he's unwilling to put that effort in, he's just not ready for a relationship. Like, period. I want to talk about reciprocity and what a healthy relationship should look like. And at the core, that healthy relationship is about reciprocity, mutual effort, respect, support. So when you're in a reciprocal partnership, both people contribute to the relationship in meaningful ways. I have another video on what a healthy relationship should look like. And that's another part of like this series that I'm in right now. You encourage each other's growth, but you don't carry the weight alone. You are loved and appreciated for who you are and not what you can do for them. Supporting a partner is fine, but it has to go both ways. Because if you're the only one giving, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate the dynamic. And that is where I've been, even recently. So, how do you know if you're falling into the trap of building someone up? Here's some signs. Do you feel more like a coach, a therapist, or a parent instead of a partner? I hope that silence was loud. Are you always giving advice or solving his problems? I hope that silence was loud. And that's my toxic trait. Accountability right here. That definitely is my toxic trait. Have you sacrificed your own goals or happiness to help him figure it out? Do you feel drained? Do you feel unappreciated? Do you feel resentful? Do you feel overworked? Do you feel like, how the hell did I even get here? Do you feel like I don't even know who I am anymore? If that sounds familiar, let's work on how we stop that. The biggest thing that I had to learn was to set boundaries. It is perfectly okay to say no when you feel like you're overextended. And this is in all areas of our lives, right? Let people take responsibility for their own lives. Focus on your own growth. Shift your energy back to yourself. We just talked about that. If you got all this time to put into somebody else, imagine what would happen if you put that back into you. So, pursue your own goals. Pursue your passions. Work on your self-improvement. One of the things that I'm learning as well is when you start pouring back into you, it'll blow your mind the things that you attract and the good fortune that you'll attract around yourself. Ask for reciprocity. Communicate your needs and see how he responds. Because a healthy partner will step up. Let go of the need to fix. It is not your job to save anyone. Trust that the right partner will meet you as an equal. I want to close this just by reminding you, us, all of us. Love is not about building someone up. It's about growing together. The right relationship will feel balanced, mutual, and empowering. I do believe that there's no such thing as a 50-50 or even an 100-100 relationship. But I do feel like that should be 100-100 should be the goal. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40. Sometimes it may be 70-30. Another thing too that I want to say that I had to get on myself about is 70-30 should be, one, in a marriage. But two, that should be like, you know what, my partner's in a dark season right now. Let me pray for him, or let me try to uplift his spirit. But it should not be my partner lost his job because he's a jackass and he did something at work, or he wasn't going to work, or whatever the case is, and now I'm pulling all of the weight. No. Because let's keep it a buck. And I had to start asking myself this. If the shoe was on the other foot, would they do the same for you? Think about all these women in relationships with inmates. If the shoe was on the other foot, would he do the same for you? Absolutely not. So, I love y'all. I know 2025 has been a little ghetto, but we still gonna sew into each other and have our community here.
Got the kick.
I pray that whoever needed this, that it spoke to their spirit the same way it did to mine. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.